welcome to the So Wizard YouTube channel. We are here talking about the E3 Roundup. We're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite releases that were talked about during E3 and all the things that we're excited about.
We also have a lot more E3 coverage, press releases, and trailers and stuff on the So Wizard podcast website. And even more going up still.
I know they keep sending stuff. It's crazy how much they send after E3 is even done.
Yeah. I thought it was
amazing.
over.
Yeah, I know. And then I just keep getting all these emails and stuff. And I dropped my business card off with so many different people that I just keep getting more and more from them too. Sure. My number 3 release for E3 is going to be Metroid Dread. It is going back to the old platformers where it's going to be side-scrolling, and it looks just like the old Metroid games. I'm super excited about it. It looked phenomenal. The teaser that they showed during E3 was amazing.
Very cool. I actually didn't see the teaser, but I did see that they were making a new Metroid game, and I like that Nintendo hangs on to those like legacy titles they've been doing forever.
Yeah, I feel like this E3 in particular with Nintendo, they took a whole bunch of stuff that hasn't been released lately, and they're bringing it back, like Shin Megami Tensei. There was, I think, there was another one that hadn't been released in a long time, and then they're just reviving all these old titles, and it was amazing.
That's good. They have all that IP just sitting around, and people are rabid for it. So.
Oh yeah, and Twitter was going crazy during Nintendo Direct.
That was probably like a whole convention in itself.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably why Sony does their own thing now.
Yeah, probably. They'd all have enough information.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be Salt and Sacrifice. It's from an indie studio, but it's actually really cool because I went to high school with the guy who is Ska Studios, who made the game. We stayed friends after it, and he lives across the country now, but we stay in touch. He's basically like a one-man band, and I guess on this one he teamed up with another studio to really nail down the online play. But he's got a ton of great games that were on Xbox, and then he moved over Sony, but now Salt and Sanctuary was the first one in this series. And that's on PlayStation, on Xbox, and on Switch, and on PC now. So no matter what, you can play it. And they're really innovative, very in-depth, cool side-scrollers, but it kind of plays like Dark Souls at the same time. And
that sounds awesome.
Incredibly hard, but it's like really satisfying when you finally make some progress. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's crazy the following that Dark Souls has, given how hard of a game it is. Like people go crazy for it, and they're super excited when it is being released.
Yeah, it's like self-punishment, but I think it's because you get that sense of accomplishment when you finally get through a boss or get through an area in a game like that. It's not just like you're breezing through it.
Yeah, exactly. My second game that I'm super excited for is Diablo 2 Resurrection. I love the Diablo series. It's an amazing series. It's definitely one of my favorite series. I love the top-down dungeon crawling, hack and slash, free roam. It's everything I want in a game, and I love it. So I'm super excited they're bringing Diablo 2 back and doing a resurrected version of it, and I can't wait.
Very cool. Is that going to be Diablo 2, but just like beefed up graphics and on modern systems and stuff?
I believe so. I think that's what they were going for.
Because they did StarCraft Resurrected, which that's what they did. It was the same exact game played the same way, just beefed it up graphics-wise and performance.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be playable on consoles, and because the original stayed as a PC exclusive, so it's going to be coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC again.
You should put that on Switch because that's the kind of game that you'd want to take on the go.
Yeah, I actually have Diablo 3 for the Switch, and I love it on the Switch. Those types of games play so much better on the Switch than I feel they do console. And so I wish that they would all just be released on Switch because it really, it plays so much differently. And that game Kingdoms of Amalur I got on the Switch, and I kind of like it a little bit more on the Switch than I did on console. Um, Elder Scrolls I have on the Switch, and I like it a lot more on the Switch.
Just I think any game that you're really going to be living in long term, but you don't need an 8-hour block to get something done. Like you can play it in spurts, I think are so good on one where you have the option to go handheld or sit down and play with a controller.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 2 is Battlefield 2042. I've always liked the Battlefield series more than the Call of Duty series. I think it slows things down a little bit. It's not as arcadey. And those are the games that I play online with my friends. So like I played a lot of the last Modern Warfare Call of Duty, even though I didn't really want to play that game, but it's what all my friends were on. So it's fun to hang out with them because, you know, they're all over the country, but we can all meet up. So Battlefield 2042, I think, is going to be a nicer change of pace where you kind of take the arcadiness out of it a little bit. And it has cooler things for a shooting game like map destruction and building destruction. And it just kind of adds another level to the play.
I've always enjoyed Battlefield more than Call of Duty 2. I started with Bad Company 2, and I absolutely loved Bad Company 2. And I always tell people Vietnam was the first DLC I ever purchased for a game. And it was beautiful. It was beautifully done. It was before its time. Just the graphics were gorgeous. I had it for PC, so it was just gorgeous during that time. And I've just always Battlefield it hits differently than Call of Duty, definitely.
For sure, yeah. And that Vietnam expansion, it was basically a new game.
Yes.
Like it was DLC, but it was a game.
Yes, it was totally worth the money.
Yeah, definitely.
So my number 1 favorite announcement at E3 was, of course, Elden Ring. I am super excited for this game. It's made by George R.R. Martin, who also did Game of Thrones. Elden Ring, super excited. Oops, sorry, what?
No, I was just going to say, is Elden Ring related to Elder Scrolls?
No, it's actually, so it's kind of like Dark Souls meets like medieval Lord of the Rings type look to it, but it's made by George R.R. Martin, who did Game of Thrones, so it has like that grittiness to it, but it looks super hard, just like Dark Souls. I believe it's gonna play just like Dark Souls as well, but the game is absolutely beautiful. If you haven't watched any trailers on it, definitely take a look at it. So it's going to be released on everything but Switch, and it looks just like Dark Souls. If you love the Dark Souls series, you're going to love this game. It looks like Dark Souls meets Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones beautifulness. So I'm super, super excited. It's going to be like a harder Shadow of Mordor, honestly. And I guess that would have been the better way to describe it. But I've been excited for this game ever since I saw that I could pre-order it, and then they released teasers for it, and I'm even more excited. So
very cool. All right, my number 1 was actually Breath of the Wild 2, and I almost didn't even put it on the list because I mean it's a Zelda game, so of course everyone who plays video games is excited for it, and I was excited for it before E3. But just that we got something, because we're kind of kept in the dark a lot on Zelda games.
I actually said on TikTok, this is the only Zelda game since like 1987 that's actually been like Legend of Zelda something 2. Normally when they release something, it's like named something completely different. Like with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they were sequels, but it wasn't like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 2. It was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So this is the first one since 1987 that I could find that was actually Legend of Zelda something 2.
That's a cool point. And one of the things I thought with E3 was we were going to get the title. I didn't think it would be a number 2 because Zelda does that so infrequently.
Yeah, it was crazy how like Nintendo did a lot of interesting things during E3, and I wasn't expecting some of them. Normally, they're like, "Hey, here's Splatoon 3." I expected Splatoon 3, which didn't even show, and they didn't show the new Pokemon games or anything like that that I saw. I saw people listing them, but I don't remember actually seeing videos on them. Maybe I missed them. But they did a lot of releasing of things that were a lot older, which was new for them. I mean, stuff that hadn't been released since early 2000s, if that. And they had Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, which was something different. They were very different this year than I feel like people expected.
I'm glad, because for a long time, maybe just because I'm getting older and I'm kind of aged out of like the core Nintendo crowd, but for a long time I felt like Nintendo was just coasting on its good name. Like the Wii and the Wii U, I think were both swings and misses. It was more gimmick than console, and then they weren't really putting out anything really interesting for it. Twilight Princess was okay, and Skyward Sword, I think, is the only core console Zelda game, except for Legend of Zelda 2 Link's Awakening, that I just quit midway through because I couldn't take it anymore. And then Mario games were always kind of cool, but they were always very standard. You knew exactly what you're getting into with a little bit of a twist. So I felt like they were just, hey, buy it because we're Nintendo. But now I feel like they hit big with the Switch, and now they got the Switch Pro coming out, and they're going for it again.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't a fan of the Wii and the Wii U. I used to tell people at GameStop, if I have to move while I'm playing video games, I'm not about it. I don't want to do it. The whole point of me playing video games is to be lazy. I don't want to have to move while doing it. And you can do motion stuff with the Switch if you disconnect the Joy-Cons and everything like that. So it does have that capabilities, but the game is not solely based on movement and motion control, and I like that. And I remember playing Mario Kart on the Wii U, and it was so incredibly difficult because of the motion control, and now I have Mario Kart for Switch, and it's so much easier. So I think they're really figuring it out, what does work for them and what doesn't work for them. And for a while, they would only release family-friendly games, and now they're starting to come out with these more R-rated titles for the Switch, which is really interesting. So I'm excited by their new business decisions.
Definitely. The one lacking thing is we need another good Star Fox game.
Yes, I was hoping. When I saw Starfield, I was like, oh, maybe it's a Star Fox game, but then it wasn't.
Hopefully they're working on it, because what was it? Star Fox 64 was the last like really great one.
Yeah, exactly. I think Star Fox Zero was released after that, and it was a swing and a miss. It was not good.
When we're on the ground with a little baby Triceratops. Okay.
And also, it would be nice if they released like another Donkey Kong game that was like Donkey Kong 64. Because you have like Donkey Kong Country Freeze and all that stuff, or Tropical Freeze and all that stuff. And that's cool, but that's more like Super Nintendo Donkey Kong. And I really liked Donkey Kong 64. Maybe I'm like alone on that island, and that's why they haven't released it. But I would like a game like that.
Yeah, hopefully those couple big titles that were missing are coming back, because, like you said, they brought Metroid back. We knew Zelda was coming back, but it's always a long time in between.
Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei was something I don't think anybody saw coming. I think the last release for that was like 2003 or something like that.
Wow.
Long time ago. So I don't think anybody really saw that one coming. They're releasing new characters for Super Smash Brothers, which is really cool. And it was really funny, actually, the announcement that they had for the new characters, or the new character, I shouldn't say new characters, because they just had them like dropping other characters off a cliff, and that's so non-Nintendo. It's really graphic.
No, like I said, they're trying new stuff with the old stuff.
And it's working. It's working for me, at least. I will purchase Nintendo stuff before console stuff any day.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Just because I can be lazy and, take it wherever I want.
Right. Yeah, I do love that aspect of it. It gets really addicting.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have any honorable mentions that you didn't put in your top 3, or?
There was a couple of indie games that looked really cool, like Pseudo Dragons. It's really cute. You like have a little dragon and then you raise it, and you journey through like the worlds and stuff and gather stuff for it and kind of take care of this little dragon thing. And it's super cute. And if anybody has the opportunity to look it up, definitely look up Pseudo Dragons. I think it was by Take-Two Interactive, maybe not. So I said I'm so ill prepared. But I did mention it on Twitter. There was so
much to cover that it was so hard to, like, when we were said, oh, let's do a top 3, I was like, oh, okay, that should be easy to fill out. We saw so much, but then I'm like, what do you put in? We saw so much.
Yeah, there was a lot, and I looked at every single indie thing I could. I think I browsed through all of the indie stuff more than I paid attention to the big developer stuff. So there was just so much. They had a really cool game that I feel like it's going to be like the new Fruit Ninja. It's like a life slide. It's a paper airplane game, and you like kind of navigate this paper airplane through different landscapes and stuff. And so I feel like it's going to be the new Fruit Ninja because it has like a Zen mode and everything is going to be for PC and your phone and everything like that. So it's going to be that new, I'm bored, but I want to do something peaceful kind of thing.
Yeah, it's going to be that thing that you turn on for 5 minutes and then 2 hours later, you're still flying a paper airplane on your phone.
Exactly. So I looked at a lot of stuff like that. And so there is a lot of really cool indie stuff coming out this year. I'm not normally about indie stuff because it plays very differently. And I haven't found the indie thing that's like I'm all about. So this year there was a lot of really cool indie stuff. So if anybody has a chance to look up some of the stuff that the indie developers came out with this year, definitely do it because they came out with some really cool things.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for our E3 coverage for 2021. Thanks for taking the time to watch and to listen. Make sure you check out some of those games. Make sure you go to SoWizardPodcast.com to check out a lot more articles that we got. There were so many coming. I hope none fell through the cracks. 1 or 2 might have, but we really did our best to keep up on everything. A lot of really cool stuff coming out. A lot of great indie stuff coming out, so make sure you don't just check the big names. Once again, thanks for watching. We have a lot more videos. I got a lot more interviews, new movie coverage, talking to comic creators, all sorts of stuff coming to the YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe. Really helps us grow our audience, helps you not miss out on things. Also, make sure you listen to SoWizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows for it. We love hearing feedback. Drop us a note in the comments. Leave us something on social media. All the accounts can be found after the show and in the show notes. And I got to throw it in there on a personal note. A good friend and I have a comic book out. It's a slice-of-life comedy comic called Social Studies. We take the insanity of the high school experience and write it like a sitcom, jam it all through the prism of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, and what you get is Social Studies. It's a vibrant, light, fast, funny comic. New issues coming out every month. The first chapter's about to wrap up, then we're going to do a little Kickstarter campaign of a trade of all of it with some bonus features, and we're already working on chapter 2, so plenty more to come. Check that out at socialstudiescomic.com. Thanks.